With my panel here on Jubes & Co, we debate, we get stuck into the issues of the day on a show where all views are welcome, especially yours. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Tired of the usual focus-tested, pre-prepared Westminster runaround? Well, so am I.
So you want higher taxes?
Is your department to blame for this? Are you rethinking this policy? Every Sunday at 9:30, I'll be sitting down with those in power to get the truth about the issues affecting you.
Let's be honest, we've known about the cost pressures of this project for years, not months.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show with personality. On GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I think the most exciting bit for me is talking to people.
People who I think are ignored often by the major news channels. We're going to give news they want to hear. There's a voice there that needs to be heard. I think there's a chance here for a diversity of opinion to be expressed, which you don't find elsewhere. It's really exciting.
We don't hold back. We're free to say how decisions that are taken here
affect us all around the country. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain.
Good afternoon, Britain. Join us, Tom and Emily,
To find out what's happening in the heart of Westminster.
and why it matters to you.
Weekdays from midday, we bring you the most compelling stories from across the United Kingdom.
And from your doorstep to our inbox,
That's right, we want to hear from you.
GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. It is 12 o'clock on Friday, the 22nd of December.
Driving home for Christmas, Storm Pia unleashes widespread disruption on trains, planes, ferries and roads as millions of us head home for the festive season. So how are you coping? Let us know by sending your pictures, videos and travel tales to gbviews@gbnews.com.
Yes, now, the migrant visa backtrack. The Home Office U-turns on a decision to hike the earnings thresholds for migrants to bring their families to the UK. It sparked criticism from the Tory right. We'll speak to one MP for their blistering reaction very shortly.
And the world mourns for Prague. 14 dead and dozens injured as police release dramatic body cam footage of an atrocity that stunned the nation. We'll cross live to the Czech Republic for the latest on the country's worst ever mass shooting.
And speaking of travel chaos, we've just learnt that rail fares are going to be hiked by 4.9%. So there you go.
Great.
Happy Christmas.
Would you know how much I paid? So normally I'm on the primetime shows on this channel.
Yeah.
So it's off peak.
Plug.
If I get a train from if I get a train from West Sussex down on the south coast, it's normally £19 with a network rail card. Guess how much a day return from Brighton to London is? Peak time in the morning.
Oh, I don't want to guess in case I guess too much. OK, £40.
£70.
£70 just to get to Brighton and back.
Yep, and that's going to go up for what, 4.2%, is it?
4.9% in March.
You wonder why you bother. They try and encourage people to go green and get public transport. It's going to be cheaper to drive up.
And, you know, it'd be all right if the service was wonderful.
Yeah, if you could get a seat, if it was clean.
If you get a seat, you have to sit on the floor sometimes. But anyway, let us know how you're being affected, or perhaps you're not being affected by the weather and the disruption and the strikes in France. The Eurotunnel, Dover, was just chock-a-block.
Merry Christmas.
Traffic jams. Christmas traffic jams. Let us know how you get through those. gbviews@gbnews.com. But first, the headlines.
Good morning. Millions of train passengers are indeed facing a hike in fares of nearly 5%. The Department of Transport has confirmed regulated rail fares in England will rise from the 3rd of March next year. That increase is based on inflation. It's capped at 4.9%. The Scottish Government has already announced that all ScotRail fares will rise by 8.7% from April. Meanwhile, rail passengers are being hit by travel disruption as they try to get away for Christmas. Trains are running out of London today, but services remain disrupted or cancelled following strong winds from Storm Pia. Motorists are also being affected. Queues, we understand, more than a mile long at the Port of Dover today following a surge in demand for ferry spaces that was caused by an overnight strike. Well, there are also delays at Heathrow Airport, where more than 250,000 people are expected to pass through the terminals there. Travel editor Lisa Mino told GB News passengers need to be prepared.
Today is predicted to be the busiest day, and that's because you've got normal commuters, normal truck drivers on the roads. At the same time, you've got all of those people that are starting to head away for Christmas. So today is going to be the big point. They're also talking about a lunch crunch. It's going to be the point where actually lunchtime is going to be the busiest day on all of the next 3 days. So between 12 and 2, that's you really don't want to find yourself on any of the roads in the UK network.
Now, in other news today, a woman has appeared in court charged with murdering her 4-year-old son in East London. Keziah Makaria is accused of stabbing her son Kobe, who was found with knife injuries at home in Hackney. He was taken to hospital, but he died on Wednesday. A post-mortem will take place next Thursday. His mother's also due to appear at the Old Bailey that day. And Czech police have confirmed 13 people were killed by a gunman in Prague yesterday, but no foreigners, they say, were among the victims. They've released body cam footage showing officers arriving at Charles University as they searched for the attacker. The 24-year-old suspect killed his father before opening fire and targeting students. We then believe he took his own life. Police are still trying to establish a motive for the murders. They say they're working on the theory that he was responsible for the deaths of 2 people as well in a nearby forest. Here, the economy has taken its first steps towards recession after performing much worse than was expected. Figures from the Office for National Statistics found there'd been a downturn in GDP. Rather than flatlining, the economy contracted very slightly by 0.1% in the 3 months from July to September. Economists had been expecting growth of 0.2%. But Black Friday deals were a driving force behind an unprecedented rise in retail sales. In the UK, ONS figures